You're watching ESPN's Holiday Hoops, presented by K Jewelers.
The Hornets are clinging to a 7-0 run early here in Philadelphia as they're in the midst of a 9-game road swing here. And we alluded to it, Rob, a team that's in rebuilding mode lost a lot of talent from last year. How arduous is that process starting from ground zero and you've got to build up?
Well, it's hard if you're playing home games, but if you're 9 games in a row on the road, and think about this, after this game here, they head out to Utah. Utes with the big win over Duke earlier today. So Keith Walker's team not only traveling all over the place, logging 26,000 miles of travel during this 9-game road swing, but it's also against some pretty good teams as well.
They lost Amir May, who competed in the NBA Summer League. Kendall Gray, who in fact led the nation in rebounding last year, was the MEAC Player of the Year as Haywood draws the contact on Devin Coleman.
Yeah, not only the Player of the Year, but also the Defensive Player of the Year. So Keith Walker's had to figure out ways to stop gaps on both ends of the floor, and they have certainly struggled, especially the last couple of games where they've really gotten blown out by Grand Canyon, Michigan, and ODU. In their last 3 games, they've not looked good at all. So this is the best start that they've had in those last 3 games.
Owens comes into the game for the first time. They go quickly to Razor again, and that's his 8th point.
Well, a pretty good idea getting him into the starting lineup, I guess, huh?
Most of his attempts come from 3, so Temple should be all over that in the scouting report. Brown takes on Afade.
And that's what Temple needs to do more. Attack. They're settling for 3-point shots. First 9 offensive possessions, they've turned the ball over 2 times. 1 of 9 from the field, but 5 of those were 3-point shots. So as soon as Del State went zone, they just got lackadaisical, not probing the defense, not attacking the rim. They've got the size, strength, and athletic ability. Go attack.
And you hit the nail on the head, because one of the things Fran Dunphy has mentioned to us is he wants his team to become better finishers, especially with conference play around the corner.
Yeah, finishers at the rim, finishers as far as going and get rebounds and finish defensive possessions, and then finish games. You know, as we said, their first 3 losses were to nationally ranked teams. In a couple of those games, including the Utah game, they had a lead late into the second half, just couldn't finish it off. They had the lead in overtime last time out against St. Joe's. So this team is not finished in many a different way.
Another turnover on the Hornets here. We'll go back to Temple. Ducozy wide open for 3. Strong on the attempt. Mark Williams also checking in, has the miss.
There you go.
And Ducozy will go back to the line.
Now, I know he's wide open for the 3, so you go ahead and take with that one. But with his size, Del State doesn't have anybody that can match up size-wise with Ducozy off of the bounce. So here he's wide open. You're almost so tempted, you've got to take that. So that's a good shot. But right here, put it to the floor, use your strength, use your length to be able to go and attack.
Center Damola Onafade is the culprit for the foul. That will bring Joseph Lewis into the game after this horn, and he will come in for the aforementioned Onafade.
Temple's a very good foul shooting team. They lead the American in free throw percentage. The problem is they don't get to the line enough because they don't go attack. Bond's really their only true back to the basket post scorer. So they've got to get some guys attacking off the bounce.
Bond takes it away from 3 players over to Ducozy, who missed the bunny.
Well, you're right, a couple of missed opportunities at the rim, but at least they're getting shots at the rim now, Dave. Well, they've got a size advantage. It only helps you if you go be aggressive on the offensive glass. Ducozy missed the bunny, but at least he stays with it long enough to gather and get another opportunity from the line.
That was on Jason Owens, and Fran Dunphy has to love the way his club's attacking, and that was a problem which aided to them losing those couple of games in Puerto Rico, their inability to get to the charity stripe.
Right, and they don't have great size to defend inside. That really hurt them in that Utah game. But they've got guys that can beat you off the bounce, and so if you don't have a true post-up player, you've got to get shots at the rim. Doesn't have to be just throwing it into the low block. Got to be able to put the ball to the floor and drive it.
Speaking of drivers, Lewis trying to accomplish that on Bond. Instead, it's Haywood right past Devin Coleman.
Yeah, right past Coleman. Now, that's one problem Temple's had. Last year, when they completely turned things around from the year before, they guarded people, held teams to just over 61 points per game. This year, it's back up to 71 points per game. That's the number they had 2 years ago when they won just 9 games.
Temple again drawing yet another foul, and it will be on Joe Lewis, and a fresh 30 for the Owls. Now, what adjustments do you have to make here if you're Delaware State, having all these fouls called against you?
Well, you've got to think about going back to zone where you had some success, but you got to rebound out of that zone.
They isolate Mark Williams. Cross court pass to Coleman. Still can't get it going. Bond tried to tip it in, and there's Williams on the third attempt.
Well, much more active here since that last media timeout, and I can guarantee you one thing. Fran Dunphy got on his team at that timeout, tried to wake them up.
Evident by getting Mark Williams early on in the game. He didn't come until about the 7-minute mark of the first half against St. Joe's. Too strong from Lewis. Coleman still has confidence and finally succeeds.
Well, if you're a shooter, sometimes you just got to shoot your way out of it.
8-0 run for the Owls. They leapfrog over the Hornets by 1. Morgan hoists a long 3. Too strong, and there's Williams. Lewis and Owens try to stop Bond. Good rebound there on the offensive side by DeCozy. Coleman kicks out. 25 to shoot for the Owls. Coleman taking on 3, and Joe Lewis went up and got him on the wrist.
Oh, so much more activity last couple of minutes for the Temple Owls. Active on the offensive glass and attacking the glass as well, whether it's post feeds and trying to play through Bond or drives like you see right here as Coleman puts it down and attacks.
We talked about how a streaky shooter has to maintain the confidence even though shots are going down, and Fran Dunphy touched on specifically with Coleman. If he's not getting it done on the offensive end in the last 2 games and the Big 5 opponents, St. Joe's and Penn, he didn't do that. But he has to rescue himself on the defensive side as well and lift his team up on that end, too.
Exactly. And the other place he can rescue himself is right there at the foul line. He's a terrific foul shooter at 84%. So ball fake threes instead of trying to will them in. Get yourself into an opportunity to go get some easy points from the foul line.
Scott Sill will check in for the first time for Lewis, who's in a little bit of foul trouble. Temple has a 1-point edge. And there's yet another turnover, and the third committed against Delaware State. Boy, the Hornets got off to a great start in this game. In fact, had a 7-0 run after Temple nailed a 3-pointer. But now the Temple Owls have made a concerted effort to get to the foul line. Quinn DeCozy gave it up to Mark Williams here. And Coleman finally gets on the board for Temple. That's a good sign.